A word that also comes from this word chen or chanan is the word mechanah. Anybody know what mechanah means? It's a place of gracefulness. Mechanah is the camp. Remember when Jacob set up camp on the other side of the river before he went to go Esav, and he called the place Mechanah? It's the camp. So the camp is related to this idea of gracefulness. You're a shepherd, you've been out, for days at a time, weeks at a time. Tired, you're cold, you're hungry, you're starving, you're lonely. You come over the rise and you see the fires of the camp. That feeling that you get, that's chen. You see, the ancient Hebrews were very emotional people. Their emotions were very important to them. So a lot of Hebrew words are actually related to emotion. That's a concrete concept, the way you feel about something. So this idea of coming over the rise and seeing the camp and what floods over you, relief. There I have love, friendship, companionship, food, sustenance, all of this idea. This is the idea of Hanan. To translate this word as gracious with a very Greek abstract way just really falls short of it, whereas I prefer to understand it as this idea of love, sustenance, and friendship. Now, the word chen is probably the root to our word home. I mean, it kind of makes sense, doesn't it? Even mechanah, which means camp, comes from chen, and chen is probably the origin of our word home. It says in the English translations, if I have found favor in your eyes, O Lord, when like Noah or Moshe is speaking to Yahweh. In other words, if Yahweh, if you can look at me and you can see a friend, somebody that you can have fellowship with, that's what this word means. The next word is to lift up. That's nasa, nun, samach, aleph. This is also sometimes written with the letter sin. It's written both ways in the Hebrew Bible. That's the shin, but with the dot over on the left-hand side. Anyway, it's pronounced nasa. And it means to lift up. Really not too much I can say about this word other than I think it's very interesting. And by the way, don't anybody say that I'm teaching this, because I think it's just a coincidence that the Hebrew word nasa means to lift up. It is really kind of similar to NASA, which is to lift up rockets. I just find it very ironic. I thought it was kind of cool. Let's move on to the next word, which is the word seem. The word seem is translated as to give here in the Aaronic blessing. But literally what this word means is to set something in place. In other words, to cause it to be established and firm, to firmly set something in place. The next word that we're going to get into is the word peace. Now the peace is another abstract word that usually means to us, most of us are pretty familiar with this word shalom, but do we really understand what it means? Usually we understand peace or shalom as absence of strife or war. But that's not really the meaning of this. Let's go back to the root, the verbal root of this word. Exodus 21:34. The owner of the pit shall make restitution, giving money to its owner, but keeping the dead animal. Here we have the root word to shalom, which is shalom. Shalom, and that's translated here as to make restitution. What does restitution have to do with peace? We have to understand that shalom literally means to restore something back to its original state. In other words, if I'm missing something, I'm not shalom. In order to have shalom, I have to restore whatever it is that I'm missing. The verb shalom means to restore. The noun shalom means to have restoration, to have everything brought back to completeness, to wholeness. Yes, exactly, to be whole, to be complete. Now, we use the phrase Shabbat Shalom all the time, but do we really understand what we're saying Hebraically? Now, but from a Hebraic perspective, what you're really saying is that you're tired because you've been working all week, you're drained, and today is the Shabbat, and you need to be restored. So, may your Shabbat restore you, is literally what this is saying. May the Shabbat bring about wholeness and completeness for you. That's what Shabbat Shalom literally means from a Hebraic perspective. In Psalms 122, verse 6, It says, pray for the peace of Jerusalem. When we hear that, we usually think of peace in the context of absence of strife and war, which, yeah, that's a good thing, and that is part of shalom, but it's not all of it. They need to be restored. Is Jerusalem restored? No. What's Jerusalem missing? A king. That's one. There's more. Moshiach. There's two. Order. Exiles regathered. That's good. There's one more that I'm thinking of here. The Torah. That's a good one. It's missing the Torah. It's a very secular nation right now. There's one more thing that's missing. One key component of Jerusalem. There it is, the temple. That's it. That's right, the temple. When we say pray for the peace of Jerusalem, what we're really saying is pray that Jerusalem is restored to its original position, to where it's now whole, where it will be whole and complete, including the king, the Mashiach, the temple, order, the Torah, all of these things. Interestingly, in Hebrew, the way this is pronounced, pray for the peace of Jerusalem, is Sha'alu Shalom Yerushalayim. This is beautiful Hebrew poetry. Notice the shal and the shil throughout this phrase. Hebrew loves to put words together that sound alike, which is why it's written this way. Sha'alu Shalom Yerushalayim. A lot of people ask, what does Jerusalem mean? Well, Yeru, it's two words. Yeru means to point out the way, literally to teach. And then Shalom means completeness. So what does Yerushalayim mean? Teach completeness, or point out the way to restoration. Yahweh, He who exists, will kneel before you presenting gifts and will guard you with a hedge of protection. Yahweh will illuminate the wholeness of His being towards you, bringing order, and He will provide you with love, sustenance, and friendship. Yahweh will lift up and carry His wholeness of being toward you, and He will set in place all you need to be whole and complete. To me, when you understand these words from Hebraic perspective, the words just come to life, and completely new revelations come up there. If you can do this with any study, with any sentence, any verse in the Bible, and you're going to find nuggets like this. It's just totally amazing.
Yevarechecha Yahweh vayishmarecha, Ya'er Yahweh panav alecha v'chunecha, Yisa Yahweh panav alecha v'yasim lecha shalom.